Hello again. We're back for yet another wonderful meal. I've made this before, but it's been, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago, but it was really good. And I've been telling my beautiful wife, Mary, over here that I would be making it, and now I finally am. However, it probably won't be one that my two college-age sons choose to make. Yes, I have two college-age sons now. Send money. It's artichoke and chicken stuffed pizza. And as soon as I said artichoke, probably half of you went, and I'm sure my boys did. So they won't make this, but I liked it, and I'm gonna make it anyway. So, all right, what we've got is a 9-inch pie pan. We've got a couple of pre-made pizza dough crusts. Bought these at the store, or you could make your own, but you know. About 2 cups of shredded chicken. For shredding the chicken, all you gotta do is I just put the chicken breast in hot water, boiled it for a couple hours, a little more. Pull it out, and then you just take your fork and it just shreds apart like that. So that's all you gotta do for the shredded chicken. Be 2 cups. We'll use that for something else later. We've got some shredded Parmesan cheese. We've got the artichoke hearts. We've got some Alfredo sauce. We've got some mozzarella cheese. And then the other day, I made some homemade spaghetti sauce with our homemade garden tomatoes. So this should be really good. The oven is set for 375. It's already preheating. So we will begin. First thing you need to do is carefully put the pizza crust, one of them, into, now last time I did this, I had round store-bought crusts. These rectangle ones are going to be a little more difficult. Hopefully I can do this without like shredding it and making a mess out of the whole thing, but what I'll try to do, I guess, is maybe do it this direction and peel it off backwards. And it's just barely wide enough to cover the pan. So I'm kind of improvising tonight on this. It's going to be just giving me a hard time. I can see that right now. All right, so I'm going to spread this crust out, try to get it to the edges. It's folded up on itself. It's quite making a mess here. I have to kind of tear these apart. We got gobs over the end anyway, so I'm going to tear off the ends just so it don't overlap too much. And with any luck at all, I'll get this to unfold on itself. Well, it's not going to be the prettiest pizza crust ever, but it's going to be tasty. So all right, you got at least to the edges without tearing. Once I get the ingredients in and the second crust on top, then I'll take some scissors and kind of cut around the edges so that it's not draping over like this. Okay, with that being spread out, the next thing that goes in is 1/3 of a cup of the shredded Parmesan cheese. So we'll spread that across in there. Get it spread out evenly. And so I made the mistake once of thinking more is better on this. And when I used like the Alfredo sauce and stuff, it ended up being a little too gooey and kind of slimy when I was eating it. It's good, but it was kind of slimy. So I'm going with what the recipe says, which is just what we've got here. The next thing is the chicken and the artichoke hearts. So I'm going to put in 2 cups of chicken. And the second cup. Actually, that's probably plenty. I didn't really measure the chicken when I made the 2 cups mounds, so we'll go with that. We're going to, for the artichoke hearts, I drained them. Again, they come in kind of an oil. You don't want them, all the oil going in here making a mess either. So I actually will take a fork and put them in, again, to kind of make sure I'm not getting too much of the oil, making it too slimy in there. Yeah, that extra oil on the bottom, I don't want necessarily in the bottom of my pizza, making it too wet. I'm gonna break these apart a little bit more. And I'm not sure what made me decide to make this one time, the first time I ever did it, because honestly, didn't think I was a big fan of artichoke hearts, but I don't know, I felt adventurous and I tried it and it was really good. So now I'm glad I did. All right, then we're going to have a 1/2 cup of Alfredo sauce. So again, I'm gonna be a little more specific on exactly the amounts because I don't want this to be a total mess. Gonna pour that around. All right, and that is the stuffing. So now I get to try this pizza crust one more time. And because this one was the long ends, I think I'm going to try to put the crust this way on the top so that we have plenty of This is probably a little bit easier way of doing that instead of trying to peel it off before. There we go. All right, now we want to pinch the edges together to kind of seal all the crust. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut this extra because that will just make a big mess in the oven if I don't cut that off. So make sure you give it enough room to still seal though. So I'm going to take the edges up. Make sure it's all pinched together. All right, and then the last bit is 1/3 cup of my spaghetti sauce that I made the other night. You can use store-bought, not a big deal. So 1/3 cup of tomato sauce. Try to smooth that around a little bit more, make sure all the areas are covered. Got air pocket in there. Get that air out. There we go. Okay. All right, so I lied. I'm going to put a little bit more than the 1/3 cup because I think it could probably use a little more sauce. But it was the insides that was so gooey last time, so I think I'm okay doing the sauce on the top a little more. All right, and then last is about 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. So, I'm sorry, not mozzarella cheese. Mozzarella cheese on the top. Okay, a little more. All right, there we go. It is prepared. It wasn't that difficult to put together, was it? I mean, the biggest problem is the crust. Just make sure you have big enough crust to cover the pie plate. You do want to grease. I used spray oil. Make sure you grease the pan so that it comes out easier. And then we're going to, it's not right up to, actually, look, we're at 375. So I will get this into the oven. Slide that right into there. It says for about 35 minutes. This oven's very efficient. So I'm going to check back in about 25 minutes, but you just need to know your oven, how fast things cook. Keep an eye out. When it's golden brown, it's done. So we'll be back when we're golden brown. All right, we actually have only been about 20 minutes, but I peeked inside and it is done for sure. So I'm going to pull it out. It's definitely on the golden brown side. As I said, our oven is very effective. It's a gas oven, really good one, and I was also using the convection mode on it, which circulates the heat and makes it even more efficient. So this was 20 minutes. It says 35, so probably could have gone for 15. Anyway, here we have our finished product of artichoke and chicken stuffed pizza. Now, I'm gonna let it cool down some, then I'll slice it. And once it's cooled and sliced and ready to go, we'll come back so we don't stand here for 10 minutes watching this cool. So I'll be back in just a few minutes when it's cool and ready to try, and we'll see how it went, okay? See you then. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for. So let it cool, took a slice out, need a little slicer. And so, again, keep an eye on your pizza. I let it go a little too long. We were out picking tomatoes in the garden and went a little too long in the crust. It's definitely going to be a crunchy crust because our oven is really good. So, and that was like, I could have gone 15 minutes instead of 20. And it said for 35. So, anyway, it tastes, I'll bet, really good. So, I'm going to try this now. And since it's hot, I'm not going to pick it up with my hands, but I will use a fork. Okay. That's good. Okay, artichoke and chicken stuffed pizza. Real simple to make. Real easy to overcook. Careful. And that's it. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time.